Lately, something unsettling has been happening across Florida, and you can feel it the moment a property tax bill lands in someone's hands. People pause, they stare at the numbers. And for a split second, there's disbelief before the worry sets in. Homeowners who once felt secure are now quietly asking themselves a question they never thought they'd have to ask. If these taxes keep rising at this pace, will I still be able to afford my own home? That uncertainty is spreading fast, especially among people who already paid off their mortgage and believed that was the finish line. Instead of relief, they're facing a new kind of pressure. And while families are trying to make sense of their bills, lawmakers in Tallahassee are debating proposals that only add to the confusion. New ideas surface constantly, including one known as HJR201, promoted as a solution to ease the tax burden. But beneath the headlines, many are wondering whether this proposal truly solves the problem or simply delays a much bigger reckoning. To understand what's really coming, we need to slow down and examine every layer of this issue. Over the past few years, Florida property taxes haven't just increased, they've surged. When homeowners compare what they paid in 2020 to what they're paying today, the difference can be shocking. In many counties, bills have jumped dramatically in a very short time. What was once a manageable $3,000 annual tax bill can now be $4,500 or even $5,000. For families on fixed incomes, that kind of increase isn't something you adjust to. It's something that forces hard decisions. One homeowner in Pasco County described how her taxes climbed from under $3,000 just a few years ago to $5,000 today. She laughed it off at first, but the worry was obvious. Her home didn't change, but the system decided it was suddenly worth much more. That story isn't unique. It's becoming common across the state, and behind every smile is the same question. How long can I keep this up? The rapid rise in taxes is driven largely by soaring home values. Even if your house hasn't changed at all, rising prices around you pull your assessed value higher. At the same time, cities and counties are facing increased costs for public services. School funding, emergency services, infrastructure repairs, all of it adds up. Millage rates adjust, fees quietly increase. Each change seems small on its own, but together they create a burden that grows heavier every year. The people feeling this pressure, most are retirees who moved to Florida, believing it offered stability and affordability. Many now face tax bills ranging from $6,000 to $8,000 a year. To keep up, they cut back on travel, delay home repairs, and reduce everyday comforts. Some admit it feels like paying for the same house twice, even though the mortgage was paid off long ago. What makes this situation even more frustrating is the sense of unfairness. Homeowners did everything right. They worked for decades, paid their loans responsibly, and planned for retirement. Yet every year they owe thousands just to remain in the home they already own. And if life throws a curveball, an illness, a loss of income, an unexpected expense, missing a single tax payment can trigger a system that moves frighteningly fast. Florida's tax certificate and tax deed process allows unpaid taxes to be sold to investors. Those investors aren't concerned with personal hardship. If the debt isn't repaid within the legal window, the home can be forced into auction. This isn't theoretical. It's happening in real neighborhoods right now. And with taxes rising so quickly, the fear is no longer hypothetical. It's personal. That fear is what fuels the intense attention around tax reform proposals like HJR201. Many people have heard the promise that this plan will eliminate property taxes, but once you dig into the details, the reality looks different. HJR201 does not fully eliminate property taxes. What it targets is the non-school portion, the taxes paid to cities and counties. The school district portion remains intact. That means homeowners would still receive a tax bill each year, and the enforcement system tied to unpaid school taxes would still exist. In other words, the risk doesn't disappear. This partial relief has divided opinion in Tallahassee. Some lawmakers see HJR201 as a major breakthrough, the largest reduction in decades and a necessary first step toward deeper reform. Others argue that calling it abolition is misleading and risks creating false expectations among homeowners. To understand what this means in real life, imagine a $6,000 property tax bill. Roughly $3,500 might go to city and county services, while $2,500 goes to schools. Under HJR201, the larger portion could be reduced or eliminated, cutting the bill nearly in half. Over 10 years, that could mean savings of $30,000. For many families, that's life-changing. It could cover medical expenses, repairs, or simply allow them to stay in their home longer. But for others, the fact that any tax remains means the underlying fear persists. They argue that as long as a home can still be taken over unpaid taxes, the system hasn't truly changed. This is why the debate has become so emotional. It's not about politics, it's about security. Beyond HJR201, a broader proposal known as the Freedom 1-2-3 plan is quietly gaining attention. This plan outlines a long-term path toward eliminating property taxes entirely. It begins by rolling taxes back to earlier levels, then capping future increases to restore predictability. The final stage would replace property taxes with a consumption-based system, shifting the burden away from homeownership and spreading it across spending. Supporters say this approach would finally ensure that owning a home means true ownership, not an annual obligation. Critics warn that such a transformation would take time, discipline, and careful execution. Still, for homeowners feeling trapped, it represents hope. As Florida moves closer to the 2026 ballot, homeowners can't afford to remain passive. Property taxes are reshaping family budgets right now. HJR201 may offer relief, but it is not the final answer. Understanding what each proposal truly does is essential. Reading the fine print matters. Engaging with lawmakers matters. The future of homeownership in Florida is being shaped in real time, and the choices made today will echo for decades. If this breakdown helped you better understand what's happening and what could impact your home, make sure to subscribe to Tax Hack Pro. We break down complex tax issues in simple terms so you can stay informed, protected, and one step ahead. Hit like, subscribe, and explore more videos on your screen now. Thanks for watching and stay prepared.